Your healing journey is continuous. It's ever evolving. You're constantly going to be learning new things, becoming a new version of yourself. When your standards aren't being held up, when your boundaries aren't being held up, you're going to pick you. Like, do you trust yourself enough to pick you? We're going to actually start talking our truth. When are we actually going to stop giving a damn what everybody else thinks? When are we actually going to stop the people pleasing? Stop all of this making everything feel nice and making everyone feel happy. Like, no, we're angry, we're pissed, we have opinions, we want to be heard. Sometimes you have to get angry to get shit done. Hello and welcome back to another episode of A Black Girl's Orbit. I am your host, Zara. Nice to see you, or hello, welcome. It's nice to see you for the first time. I hope you stick around. How is your first quarter doing? How has your first quarter been? We're about to enter quarter 2 of the year, and the first 3 months of this year have thrown me through a loop. Like, if I'm being honest, everything that I thought I knew, I don't know any of it. This girl, I don't know who she is. I don't know who she, like, I thought I knew myself. Like, would you say that you're someone who is self-aware? I would say I'm a self-aware girly. Like, I would say I've been a self-aware girly. I know my flaws. I know the things that I need to work on, or I try to do my best in order to understand where I've gone wrong or what I'm doing wrong, and then fix it, or to take action into fixing it. I feel like I was doing the work to become a better version of myself, right? And what I'm realizing is, while yes, I still am that girly, a lot of what I thought I knew, I didn't know. A lot of what was serving me last year isn't going to serve this version of me. A lot of what was serving that version of myself isn't serving this version of myself. And the reason why I say that is because I thought I trusted myself. Like, I thought I trusted myself, and what I kind of did, but like not fully, right? So when I said, okay, I know there's some trauma and I'm going to do what I can to go and work through it and become a better version of myself, and to fix those survival mechanisms, to fix those trauma responses, I'm going to go in and heal my tiny inner version of myself, the inner child, right? I said I was going to go and do that. When I decided on that journey, I was still in survival mode. I was still working from a place of survival mode. While I had a little bit of more self-awareness of where I was at and the fact that I was in a survival mode from my childhood, I was still in it when I decided I was going to start my healing. And what that caused was a lot of healing, yes. A lot of reparenting, yes. A lot of self-awareness, yes. A lot of gaining love and gaining trust within myself, yes, it did. But it came from a perspective that I had at that time, right? And this is why you have to understand that your healing journey is continuous. It's ever evolving. You're constantly going to be learning new things, becoming a new version of yourself, having a different perspective on what may have once served you at that time may not serve you anymore, right? And my perspective at that time, while I was still in survival mode, I was still trying to heal. And so a lot of the perspectives and opinions and the way I healed through those things, and the things I implemented, the mindsets that I implemented at that time to try and heal myself through it, aren't serving this version of me anymore, because I'm no longer in survival mode. I'm no longer working from a place of survival. I have done the work. I've done enough work to get myself out of survival, to remove myself from the place where I was working in survival, to move myself from those experiences, those environments, those people. And now that I'm out of that, I have a whole new perspective on my life. And when you have a whole new perspective on your life, I've also had a child, and that completely changes, your perspective on life. But within changing my perspective on life, a lot of the things that I thought I healed and worked through now need a different perspective, now need a different understanding, now need a different mindset. And then there's also things that I didn't know was there, traumas that I didn't know I had, survival mechanisms that I didn't know I was working from at that time, because I was so busy working on those things, that now they have a place to come out and be like, oh, this thing hasn't been worked on. We have a limiting belief here, we haven't worked on it. We have a trauma here that we haven't worked on. We have this experience that we didn't remember that we had, and now we need to go and figure out what that means and what that looks like and how you even feel about that, right? And it's because I'm no longer in that environment around those people that those things can now come out to be talked about, to be addressed, right? And it hasn't been great. It hasn't been. It's been amazing, but also not great at all, because when you feel like you've done so much work and then you get to a place where it's like, okay, I feel good here. I like this version of me. I think I love this version of me. I think I trust this version of me. And then new things come up and you're like, oh, maybe everything I knew was wrong. Or maybe this new version of me needs a whole different perspective, needs a whole different worldview, needs a whole different sense of habits, needs a whole new sense of parenting, right? And I think a part of that is hard. A part of that becomes daunting. A part of that becomes annoying, if I'm being honest. A part of that becomes annoying because it's like, I've done all this work. I already did all of this work, right? And the reason why, and that's why I asked you, do you trust yourself? Because that's what I had to deal with. The new realization that I had is that I actually don't trust myself. And it's not that I don't trust myself fully, it's that I don't trust a part of myself, a version of myself that is now screaming to be heard. And that version of myself is my teenage version. I had to put words to that era that's now needing to be addressed, and it was teenage me, like 16 to 18, 13 to 18, that range, that version of me, that teenage self is pissed. She's pissed. When I tell you, she's so angry. She has so much rage. She is so angry. And when I began healing, I was doing all the inner child healing. I was going back to talk to my 5-year-old self, to talk to my 7-year-old self, asking her what she needed, asking her how I can make her feel safe, asking her how I can make her feel loved, asking her what kind of environment she wants to be in, the type of people that she wants to be around, what's not serving her. I was asking that version of myself, the inner child, right? They tell you that when you're on a healing journey, that's the work that you're supposed to go and do, right? Go and heal your inner child. Yes, but what about that teenage version of you? What about that version of you that's, what? She's pissed. The hormones kicked in and I'm angry. I'm angry about all the trauma that I experienced. I'm angry about all the things that I witnessed. I'm angry about all the emotions that I wasn't allowed to have and sit in from birth until teenager. Teenage me is pissed. And because I'm an eldest daughter, because I've, the people pleasing, the wanting to make everybody happy, because I was raised in that kind of environment, not any fault of my parents, that's just, we make mistakes. But because I became that type of person, the teenage me that basically crashed out, I hid her. I was like, we're not gonna, we don't have time to integrate you right now. We're trying to make 5-year-old me feel safe. We don't have time to listen to angry, opinionated, ready to have a fight teenage me. I don't have time for her right now. And it made it worse. She just got more angry, right? And she's ready to get her get back. She's like, okay, cool. 5-year-old you feels good. 5-year-old you is feel safe. She's happy. Cool. We've reparented her. What about me? When are we going to actually start talking our truth? When are we actually going to stop giving a damn what everybody else thinks? When are we actually going to stop the people pleasing and give our views? Stop all of this making everything feel nice and making everyone feel happy. No, we're angry, we're pissed, we have opinions, we want to be heard. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. And the thing is, you can't do one healing without healing the other, right? You can't heal the 5-year-old you without healing the 15-year-old you, without healing the 25-year-old you, and I'm not even 25 yet, so I'm sure she's gonna need something else. But right now, 15-year-old me, 18-year-old me has things to say, And I have to give her the space to say them. I have to give her the space to be angry. I have to give her the space to talk her truth, speak her truth, speak and be opinionated and not give a damn what anybody else thinks. And do you know how hard that is when you have literally been trained to not be that type of person, to not. I'm opinionated, don't get twisted, but I will say it in a way that makes it feel the most kindest and sweetest to you. And I'm realizing that that's not me. I'm realizing that's not me. I'm realizing that I actually just want to be blunt and tell you how it is. I'm realizing that sometimes I have an opinion that might not be taken well, and I should still be able to give it, right? And I have needs that need to be met. And if you're not going to get on the same page as me, you don't have to be around me, and that's okay. I don't have to try and keep everybody in my life, right? And as much as I was healing and making that 5-year-old version of me feel safe, I was still trying to keep everybody happy. I was still trying to keep all the people in my life, because 5-year-old you wants to be loved. She wants to be loved. Like, no 5-year-old wants to piss everybody off. No, they want to be loved. I wanted to be loved, right? And so I was still doing everything that I can while reparenting her, while making her feel safe and secure within myself, like within my body, within my boundaries, within who I am. I was still holding those boundaries, but in the nicest way that I possibly could. I was still talking to people how they needed me to talk to them. I was still doing everything that I can to make you feel comfortable around me, even though I'm working on me and you might not be working on you. And 15-year-old me, 18-year-old me is like, if you ain't gonna work on you, I don't want to be around you. If you're not working on you, I don't want to be here. I shouldn't have to be here. Why am I gonna put in all this work and not get anything from you? 15-year-old me wants to be reciprocated. She wants full reciprocation of every piece of work that she's put in. She wants it to be reciprocated. She wants to feel the same love that she has given, right? And a 5-year-old just gives. Like, they give without a 5-year-old gives without expectation. They give love because that's all they have to give. They give happiness. They want happiness. They just are happy. 3-year-olds even, they just are happy because they're happy, right? But they also tell their truth, and I don't think I was working on that side of it. Like, I don't think I was working on that side of it. Was coming from pure love and respect of other people. But the older that I got, that deserves to be reciprocated, right? If a baby is nice to you, you should reciprocate to that baby. Just because they don't need to do anything to deserve to be loved, right? And I was still playing into that I need to do stuff. I was still doing stuff for me to feel like I deserve to be loved. And that is not at all the truth. And hence why the first 3 months have sent me through a loop, because it's this new realization of I shouldn't have to do anything for the love that I give to be reciprocated, or even just to receive love in general. And because I had that realization, I then started thinking about, okay, but do I trust myself to make the right decision, or to make the decision to put me first if I don't feel like things are being reciprocated? And no. I would make the easier decisions. I would want to make everybody happy, and so I would make the decision that would cause the easiest amount of situation. Like, I wanted the easiest situation, even if that was at a detriment to myself. And when you realize that you're not trusting yourself, like, that's actually affecting the trust that you have with yourself. If you know you want something, I know I want a certain type of love, I know I want a certain type of lifestyle, I know I want to be a certain type of person, and then all my actions, I'm relaying to myself that I'm actually not going to do what it takes to give myself all of those things, then you get yourself into this situation where you are not building trust with yourself. I wasn't building trust within myself. I was telling my younger self, yes, I know we want these things. I know we deserve these things. I know we deserve, because like, really, did I feel like I deserved them? No. But I know we deserve these things. I know we want these things. I know we're working on these things, but we're not going to stick up for ourselves. We're not going to give our opinions. We're not going to tell it how it is. And when they're not, if people don't, if people don't show up to what we want, we're just going to keep them around anyway. No. 15-year-old me is like, go then. Leave then, go. Do you. I will continue to be me regardless of whatever it is that you're doing. I will continue to speak my opinions regardless of whatever it is that you're doing. And when you realize that you're not making that decision, it's hard. It was difficult. It was a difficult pill to swallow, because then, even like with myself, I want to be a certain type of person. Okay, that certain type of person has these types of habits. She goes to the gym when she needs to. She eats better. She does certain things, right? And I found myself being like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Or, oh, I can still show up for myself tomorrow. Oh, I can still do what I need to do tomorrow. I can still try and be that version of myself tomorrow. I can still... And I was literally beating myself down in that sense. Not like, oh, you're just a piece of shit type beating myself down, but I was not building trust, right? The only way that you build trust with yourself is to make a decision and stick to that. Tell yourself that you're going to do something and stick to the thing that you're going to do. Make yourself a promise and follow through with that promise. And because I was so busy putting everybody else's needs before mine, I wasn't actually following through with my promises to myself about who I want to be and the type of life that I want to have. I wasn't actually doing that. And because I wasn't actually doing that, I wasn't holding space for that version of me who I've now named my teenage version of me, but that version of me who speaks her mind and doesn't care who's hurt in the process, right? And obviously, as now an adult, I can't just hurt people's feelings for no reason. That's not at all what you do. But when you're reparenting, when you're providing space for a version of yourself, when you're healing a version of yourself, you have to integrate her into this version. So I have to integrate the teenage version of me with this version of me, this current adult self who speaks her mind when she needs to, and can hold things in when those things are needed to be held in. Because if you had met teenage me, she said a lot, she did a lot, but she was happy. You know what? She was at the crash out. The crash out was good. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you. I loved my teenagers. The crash out was very good. It was well deserved, and I loved it. But I hurt a lot of people in the process, I would say, because I was only thinking about myself. For the most part, I was still people pleasing in some sense, in some areas, in some relationships, but for the people that I felt like I could let go of, I was doing it. And so when you realize that you have to be like that even for the people that you maybe don't want to get rid of, like, are you still going to be the same person and say the same things and have the same boundaries and uphold the same standards and demand the same respect from people that you think you really want to have in your life, or for people that you think you want to keep in your life forever? You have to be that same person. And I always used to say, like, oh, if I have a friend who, like, I know is kind of surface level, I'll easily cut them off. I'll easily let go of the friendship. I'll easily say how I feel, or, hold up my boundaries and demand respect. Not even demand respect, but like expect respect from people. Because I think it's okay to expect people to respect you, especially if you respect them. It's okay to want the things that you are doing to others to be reciprocated. That is okay. I know we shouldn't expect anything from people, but when it comes to like friendships and intimate relationships, it's okay to want the feelings that you have and the emotions that you give and the things that you share to others to be reciprocated. It's okay. Like, we all want to be loved the way we want to be loved. That's okay. And as you should. You should have standards. Okay, we should want to be respected. That's okay. If you're a good person, you should want to be respected. But I was easily able to hold up those boundaries and those standards for people that I was like, okay, well, if they don't meet them, then that's fine. Like, I don't really care that much anyway. But I wasn't easily able to do that to people who I wanted them to be around. I really wanted them to be around. With those people, I would easily let go of a boundary, I would let go of a standard, I would allow them to kind of treat me in any type of way in certain circumstances, because it's like, well, if I don't, and if I do uphold that boundary, are they going to stick to it? Are they going to meet the standard? Are they going to reciprocate the love and actions that I'm giving to them? And you have to learn to trust that even if they don't, in the case that they don't, you're still going to uphold that. You're going to make the decision that's right for you. You're going to make the decision to get rid of them or remove them from your life, or to uphold your boundary, or to, put you first there as well. And I wasn't. Or to give your opinion, or to state your truth. And I wasn't. I was not. I was not. And when you realize that you aren't building trust with yourself, it's hard. It's hard. And I think a big moment for me when I realized that, like, I can do anything. You see me, I'm finna find a way to do anything. When's a better time to realize that than when you're pregnant and you have to trust your body? Like, you have to trust your body, whether you like it or not. You have to trust that your body is going to do what it's supposed to do, which is give birth to this baby, in the hopes that you give birth naturally with no complications to a healthy baby who doesn't need anything but their mum, doesn't need any outside interference, doesn't need anything but their mum. I had to trust my body to do that. I had to. There was just nothing else I could do. I refused. I don't know if I refused to, or if I had just come to an understanding that I trust my body, and that I trust my body to get through this, and I trust my body to do what it's made to do, to give birth to this baby, for this baby to be healthy. I think I had just come to an understanding that I trust my body. I don't know if I did before. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I fully did trust my body before. And now that time period has ended, you go into, obviously you give birth to the baby, and I'm so grateful that I was able to trust my body, that I did trust my body, and I did give birth naturally, and my baby did come here very healthy, very quick labor. That experience was beautiful, and I came out of it, and my body was able to produce milk, and I was able to feed my baby, breastfeed my baby, do all of those things, care for my baby. I trusted my body. Like, there's loads of other ways that you could do it, but for me, that was my entrance into, like, your body's got you. Like, you have got you, but you need to do what you need to do to take care of it so that you can trust it, right? There are loads of things that you can do while you are pregnant in order to try your hardest, because at the end of the day, things happen. Try your hardest to get to a point where everything that you can do, you've done, right? To bring this baby into the world in the most safest, naturalist way. But things are going to happen regardless. I'm all for intervention if we need intervention. Listen, get the baby out however you need to get the baby out. But there are loads of things you can do. And while I was pregnant, I ended up figuring out all the things. I went and looked for all the things I can do so that I can trust myself. So that I can get to a point where I trust this body, where I know that I've done everything I can to trust that I'm going to be able to give birth, right? And that's a conversation for a different day. But sometimes we get pregnant and then we don't realize that we actually have to birth the baby. Like, for me, it was like, yeah, I'm pregnant, but now I actually have to birth the baby. Like, that's a whole different kind of worms that we haven't actually come to terms with. Like, I came to terms with the fact that I was pregnant. I didn't necessarily come to terms with the fact that I have to birth the baby. And so when I realized I have to birth this baby, and I had a nurse who genuinely told me, like, there might be complications here. Do you want to opt for a cesarean? I was like, no chance, no how, no way. I don't want to opt for anything. If I need to do it, I will. But opt? No, no, sir. Like, I'm gonna put every single piece of effort that I can in order to get my body to where it needs to be so that I can do my best in giving birth to this baby. And in order to allow my mindset to get to the point where it trusts that I can birth this baby. And for me, that was my, like, how much are you actually doing to get yourself to a point where you trust yourself? How much effort and work are you actually putting in to get your mindset to the place where you are going to pick you over everything? You are going to pick you when your standards aren't being held up, when your boundaries aren't being held up. You're going to pick you. Like, do you trust yourself enough to pick you? Do you trust yourself enough to still do what you need to do when you're tired? Do you trust yourself enough to still do what you need to do when you don't really want to? Do you trust yourself enough to do what you need to do even when you're exhausted and you feel like, oh, I could do it tomorrow. I could work on it tomorrow. I can fix it whenever I need to. Oh, it's not due until next week. Oh, I can change my gym day until tomorrow, right? I didn't trust myself to make that decision because I was consistently not being disciplined. I was consistently not showing up for myself. I was consistently putting other people's needs before mine. And when I began to create space for this teenage version of me who was pissed, who was angry, you see when you're pissed and you're angry and you want your get back, there's just something about that energy that makes you do the work, that makes you do the damn work. It's like, after you go through a breakup and you just have a glow up. You have a glow up, and it's because you have reason to. It's like, I'm gonna do everything that I didn't do when I was in this relationship to show you that I'm that girl. But why does it take for us to go through the breakup to realize that, right? You just need to get a little angry. It's just because you're a little angry. Sometimes you need to get a little angry, right? Sometimes you need to get a little angry. And teenage version of me, 15-year-old me, 18-year-old me, she was angry. And do you know how much she did within that time? She did some good ass things. She did some damn things. She went for some stuff. Like, she worked on herself, and she wasn't afraid of other people's opinions. She wasn't afraid of how other people cared, and she was still kind of a people pleaser, but we're working on that now. We're working on that now. We're combating that now. We're healing that now within this version of the anger phase. But I didn't create space for her, and learning to trust yourself takes time. Like, how do you build trust with someone? You have to consistently show up for them. You build trust with someone by consistently showing up for them. And so you want someone to build trust with you by them consistently being the same person, right? It's like, if they say they're this type of person and then they're not that type of person every single day, you're like, I don't really trust you. You can't say you're not shady and then be shady. I'm not going to trust you, right? And so you have to do the same thing with yourself. I can't say I'm a gym girl and I'm not going to the gym. Even my mindset, my brain isn't going to trust the fact that I'm a gym girl. Like, I can't just sit here and say it. My actions have to align with it. I cannot say I am a podcaster and I'm not actually filming the podcast. I'm not putting in the work in for the podcast. And my actions have to align with that. Now, there's always going to be, the ego side of us, the self-sabotage side of us who is scared, who is either scared of success or scared of failure and is trying to continue to stay in this comfort zone of ours. But if you have to get angry to get shit done, sometimes you have to get angry to get shit done. I don't remember what I was watching. I have absolutely no idea. But this is what just popped into my brain. I heard either a quote or something, right? But when you break up with someone and you made the right decision, internally you made the right decision, and then all of the good the good memories, all the times where things were great start running through your brain. Sometimes you literally have to write a list of all the bad things that happen. Why did I break up with you? Why did I break up with you? Oh, because this happened. This happened. You're this type of person. This happened. Da 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 da. Blah 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 blah. Because sometimes you need to be angry just to follow through. Like, just to follow through. You're not going to be angry forever because, there is still love there, or you do think they were a good person in some areas. Clearly, all the good things are running through your mind. But sometimes you need to get angry. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you need to transmute that anger into good stuff, right? Like, you're going through a breakup and you glow up. You're going through a breakup and you get as fine as you could possibly get. You're going through a breakup, you get in the gym. That's you transmuting the energy. Sometimes good things come from bad energy, and that's just the truth. That's just the truth. Sometimes you need a little fire in your behind to go and do what you need to do to get the things that you need to do get done, right? And that's what the teenage version of myself is teaching me, and that's what I'm deciding my Q2 is going to be about. My second quarter is going to be about. It's going to be about using the fire from the teenage version of me, using her fire, using her anger, using her rage, using her need to get back, and doing everything that I need to do, becoming the version of myself that I want to become, putting the actual action behind the promises that I'm making to myself, showing up for myself, and learning to trust that regardless of whatever's happening in the world, I'm going to make the right decision for myself. I'm going to make the right decision for myself. I'm going to trust myself enough to know I'm going to do what I need to do for me, regardless of the circumstances. And yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to get a little bit angry. So this is just time to get a little bit angry. Sometimes you use that as fuel. If you don't have any motivation today, use your anger as fuel. Use it. What are you angry about? And then take it to the gym. And then transmute it into your dreams. Transmute it into your haircut. Transmute it into getting your nails and your eyebrows done. Like, do whatever you need to make yourself feel the best version of yourself. Obviously not at the harm and detriment of others. Don't go outside and give that anger to other people. Transmute it into some good stuff. Okay? I hope you have enjoyed your time within the Black Girls Orbit. We're going to be here every single week. I have been slacking. My self-sabotage was beating me up. Like, it was beating me up. I wasn't following through. I made a promise to myself that I'd be here every week, and I just wasn't following through. One week I was like, okay, cool, that's okay, we're gonna come back 10 times stronger, and then I just didn't. So this is the get back, right? Operation Get Back. So we're back and we're better. Okay, I will see you next week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please leave me a comment. If you have made it this far, leave me a comment. Let's have a chat in the comments. What are you angry about? What are you using as your fuel for your second quarter? What are you using? I'd love to hear it.